Hello, Dinesh. How are you doing? Good to see you. Good afternoon.
Hello, Professor.
How are you doing?
Good, good, Professor. How are you?
Okay, great. Good to see you. Yeah, I'm good too.
Yeah.
So, how is going? Understanding the stuff being covered?
Uh, yes, Professor. I just reviewed the user stories what I had written before. Uh,
Okay. So,
so
you
that,
want to show something?
no, Professor. Today I didn't.
Okay. Okay. No problem. So, good work. I'm very happy that you're being attentive and doing your work. Very good.
Yeah,
Okay. So let's wait for a couple of minutes. Maybe a few more people will join us. Right?
sure.
Currently, you're the only one in the conversation. So
Okay, sure.
maybe at least two more people should join us.
Yeah, sure.
Then we'll continue with discussion. Okay.
Yeah, Professor. Sure.
So you have learned that what is a user story. Then we have various user stories. Based on user stories, we make mock-ups, right? Or wireframes for that matter, right?
Yeah,
By looking at the wireframes, we do what? By looking at the wireframes, we
uh,
write use cases, right?
yeah. Use cases and scenarios.
We
And I
write
thought
use
of asking
cases.
one thing
Say
for
it
a
again.
testing team. I thought of asking one thing yesterday, professors. You said the testing team will test the code developed using the use cases, sorry, using the scenarios, right?
Scenarios, yes. Because
So,
use case might have so many different cases of failure, right?
yes,
Ideally,
professor.
you need to test everything.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But believe me, it's not possible. Even a small scale project, it is not possible.
So, to make it possible, we are framing a scenario to test easily, right?
Yeah, so we have like some important scenarios which we test definitely,
Oh, okay, okay.
right?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
can't test all the scenarios, right?
Yeah, we cannot test everything. Yes. It is exponential in nature, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Sometimes it happens that one scenario is running and another scenario, and these two scenarios are running parallel and they are working good. But
yeah,
as that one scenario is running with some other scenario, maybe I'm sorry, it is causing problem, right? So
yeah,
you cannot test everything.
yeah.
Very simple. Testing is NP complete.
Yes,
Okay, rather I think it is NP hard. Okay, so let's start. So, guys, we have learned, what have we learned so far? Let's summarize it. We started with the user stories, right? So we like to write user stories, whatever the system requirements are. We study system requirement. We make user story that as a student, I want to register. As a student, I want to add. As a student, I want to drop. As a student, I want to withdraw. As a student, I want to see my grades. As a student, I want to send an email to my professor. As a student, I want to pay my dues. As a student, I want to extend the date for my dues. So basically, all these are user stories, right? And based on these user stories, we group them, right? We group them all to see that what could be the different pages on which we are going to put these various requirements or user stories outcomes. And once we make these wireframes by using these user stories, then the next step is that we write use cases. Can you hear me, Avinash? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so great. So then we write use cases, right? Once we have written, and use case should be, as we have mentioned, that use case must be very detailed, right? Use case must be very detailed, right? And once we have use cases written, we actually hire a designer, right? We actually hire a designer, and that designer makes mock-ups for us, right? Designer will tell that this line 1 pixel, this line 2 pixel, this is that color code, this is this color code, This is the full-fledged detailed design. And then what happens, designer is the one who does not know a single bit of coding, but he becomes the boss. He becomes the boss, right? So he tells that, oh, I told you that here we need to have 2 pixels and you have given 3 pixels. This is not acceptable, right? So he becomes the boss, and boss actually, see all the layouts, that are you making those layouts according to the requirements, right? Okay, so boss is making the layouts and you are writing the scenarios, right? And once you have written the scenarios, right, the next step is that for some complicated scenarios, we may be asked to draw sequence diagram. Actually, people say that we should make sequence diagram of a use case, right? People say that and books mostly recommend this thing. I don't like it, right? So this is like, I find it very complicated, right? I find it really complicated and very difficult to understand them, right? So basically, I love to see scenarios drawn in in sequence diagram, right? So if you have multiple scenarios in a use case, in a single use case, then we draw multiple scenarios, multiple sequence diagrams, right? So sequence diagrams, actually, you can very safely say that sequence diagrams are pictorial depiction of your scenario. A book would say use case, right? So how do we draw it? Say, for example, I'm taking the example of two of my websites. One is pickafaceandnick.com and other one is machomet.com. And say, for example, I want to take up the example of showing the uh, sequence diagram for registration, right? A student wants to register into a course, right? So how would you make the sequence diagram? Everybody is with me? Hello? Right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. So let me start over here. I need to have full slide. So let's have a sequence diagram. So the entire sequence diagram would be in a rectangle. I'm not drawing that rectangle currently. Let me see if I have stick man figure available here. So who is this? I think today we have all 6 of you, right? No, 5 of you, right? Okay, so let's see that how can we draw the stickman. Have you ever seen stickman? So stickman. So let me draw stickman for you. Um, it should be thicker format shape. There are softwares available. For example, one software is this online software. This one. No, not this one. No. This one. lucidchart.com, right? So if you want, you can use it, but I looked into their free account and they are offering only three free diagrams per month, which is not a good offer, and I have to create account, so I thought that I will make it myself. Okay, so let's draw stickman. So this is the typical drawing of for a human actor, right? So we draw it like a stick man and say we write underneath it that this is a student, right? So in this diagram, we draw actors, right, which we have drawn, right? So this is actor, and various components or objects of the code, or you can say system, which are going to interact with in this particular scenario. Everybody is getting me, by the way? Hello,
Yes, sir.
everybody. Okay. So let me shrink this stick man a little bit, group it. Let me shrink it. This is student, right? Then what other component would be there? The user interface of the page, right? Classes page user interface, right? So you can say, you can name that user interface over here. We can say that here we would have another component right over here. Let's format this shape. Where is format shape has gone? Okay, let's put text over here. So here I can say that I can have, what is the name? Classes user interface, right? And it needs to have border around it. Where is the border? Format shape, it is down there. And line, solid line, right? So this is class UI. Let's copy this, copy, paste. And then we need to have a controller process, right? So controller process there, for example, classes, right? That is the registration process, which is going to work behind the scene actually, right? So what will happen? A student will interact with the user interface will interact with the backend code, right? And the backend code will interact with what? Tell me please, Shabash.
With the another actor, I think there should be two actors.
Why there should be two actors, my dear?
One must be the user from the client side, and one should be from the server side.
No. Look, this classes box, it is mentioning that server side actually,
Okay.
right? This is the server side, right? So this is the server side. This is classes UI where the user is going to interact, right? And this is the classes part where, which is the server part most of the time, right? Or background code which would be running. And what else could be there?
Database to store the data.
Database, this classes interface is going to do it.
Oh, okay.
If you want to show it separately, yeah, you can show it, right? So we can say database interface, Control C, Control V. Database process. But before database process comes into picture, right, there would be another process which will come into picture. Let's put database. Yes, this is good idea. Let's put it here. And before database module will come into picture, there is another module which will come into picture. And that module is?
Payment portal.
Yes, right. So that external module will also come into picture, right? So these are the modules which will come into picture. So once we have these things, So these things are very important. So I am taking time with you guys to teach them so that you understand them better. Okay, let's make some even space. Maybe here. Okay. Now, and on the top, we will write that whatever the name of this particular uh, sequence diagram. And sequence diagram is such a vast topic that even today people do thesis in it, right? Like even master's thesis and PhD theses are done in sequence diagram. So by no means I am going to teach you everything out of sequence diagram, but I just want to open your mind about these diagrams, that where do they fit in the overall fabric of design, right? So this is the student, and now we want to draw their lifelines, right? So we want to draw their lifelines, right? Lifeline is their, as they go over. So this is the timeline, you can see. So this is the lifeline, right? And lifeline is normally drawn in dotted format, right? So can you see the dotted dashed line? Okay, so this one, right? So these are like no dots. So where are the dotted lines? Maybe let's use this one. And let's use it a thicker, little bit thicker, so that you can at least see this. Can you see it now? This is transparency. Where is the, okay, this is the width, right? Now is it visible, right? So basically this is the lifeline. So time flows from top to bottom, right? Time flows from top to bottom. Let me copy and paste. So these are lifelines for each one of them, right? One lifeline, another lifeline, and another lifeline. Right? So student interacts with the user interface, right? So student is interacting with the user interface, and the student presses the registration button, right? Student presses the registration button, right? So this is a message, right? So student is going to send a message. So message is normally drawn as a horizontal line. Or you can have line incline like this, showing that there might be some time lapse, but normally, with this user interface, there would not be any time lapse, right? So this is the message. So student is sending a request to the classes UI that, hey, I want to register this subject, right? Are you getting me? Right? So here we can write this thing right over here. Register subject, right? So the student is requesting to register a subject, right? So this is request. So it is always made in solid arrow. And if there is some response, that would be made in dotted arrow, right? But before it happens that the student presses the registration button, one more thing will happen if you understand this thing. And that is the reason that I showed you that website quite a number of times, that this server end will send terms, customized terms according to the student. Right, so this will send customized terms according to the students, right? So I showed you this thing that once you log into the system and you are at classes page, system actually customizes those terms and conditions according to the student and send them to classes user interface. Guys, are you getting me? Hello?
Yes, yes.
Right? So here, during this time, it is busy doing something, right? So in order, if you want to show that your system is busy in doing something, you show it by showing a thin rectangle over here. Right? So this thin rectangle shows that this classes process or classes class or object, whatever it is, it worked to generate these terms and conditions. Right? So as this classes, UI is pressed, right? This button is pressed, what is going to happen next? So you can open, for example, you can open your, the website, and there you can do this process. So Shri Yash, he has an account. So can you open this account and see that once you press the registration button, what happens? And we want to make it over here. So this is kind of reverse engineering, you can say.
So
Yes.
when we click the register, it send terms and conditions.
It shows the terms and conditions. So question here is that who shows the terms and conditions?
From the server side.
No, my dear, they are coming from front end, right?
Yeah.
So server gave these terms and conditions over here, and now they are coming from the user interface, right? Are you getting me? Now they are coming from the user interface. So here we will show in the shape of an arrow. And it would be a dotted arrow. Response is normally a dotted arrow. So let's make it dotted. And let's make it thicker so that at least you can see, right? So this is the dotted arrow, and let me make it thicker also. Right? And now here it will show so let's put it here. Show terms, and it is according to the student. Right? It is, these terms will be shown according to the student. Getting me, guys? Now here, the student can, so basically here, if you want, rather you should do this thing, that you copy this, C, Control V, and paste it over here. So it shows that the system is busy to do this thing, right? So system was busy doing this thing, right? So front end did some work in JavaScript and show terms to the student, right? So Yash, would you like to tell us that what happens next? So student can press the cancel button, that, but we are discussing the scenario where, you know, we are having success, right?
Yeah, after that we have to click the terms and condition button.
So we have to click that we accept terms and conditions, right? So student clicks the student click accept, right? Once you click accept, what happens? Yes.
After we have to click on register button.
No, once look, you click the register button, it shows you the terms and condition.
Yes.
Once you have you click that review button, right, that you accept them, right? So what happens next?
Yeah, after he signed it as my name and
Yeah, signatures are shown, right? So basically I can copy this thing, Control C, Control V, and these signatures are shown by the front end, right? So basically show signatures and signatures slash pay button, huh? Right, guys? Do you agree with me? Right, show signatures and pay button. So it shows signature and pay button. So once it shows signatures and pay button, so what happens next? So basically here you can copy this thing, Control C, Control V, and put it over here, right? So once it shows the pay button, what happens next?
after if there is it sends us to pay button means pay with stripe
Yeah,
if
so
there is no
basically,
dialect automatically it
right? So basically copy this thing, copy, Control C, Control V, and so we come over here. So here the user press the pay button, press pay button, right? So once user presses the pay button, what happens? The front end shows you the let me paste, So it shows you the show Stripe portal, right? Or Stripe pop up, and according to the amount, right? So whatever the amount you have filled over there, it will show that amount, right? And while showing it this, it will do one more thing. So it will inform the server side that this payment is to be sent, right? So basically it computes. Okay, one more thing, here we have missed this thing, that promo code thing. Okay, let's leave it, right? That promo code is not there, right? So here it will send the server that this payment, is coming. So server is now ready to send the payment, right? And then basically what happens? Yes, please.
Yeah, after the page that it goes to means page
So one more thing, you can say this thing, if you want to show this thing, we can decipher it into a little bit more detail actually. So let me show you that detail. So once you press this button, so it shows that pop-up, right? So it shows that pop-up. If we want, we can show that pop-up separate to this class user interface, right? So we can do this thing. Control C, Control V. So here we can make Stripe interface, Stripe user interface, right guys? And here right? So this is, if we make it dotted, so basically it depends upon you that how much detail you want to show in this sequence diagram, right? So this will create this actually Stripe user interface, and it will show the pop-up, right? Show the pop-up. And now this is its lifeline, right? So Control C, Control V. Let's just bring it here. Right? And this is with the amount. And now, you give details of your credit card. Control C, Control V. Not to us, but to this interface, right? we don't want to have your detail because we are not compliant to have it. So it goes directly over here. So we can say give credit card details, right? Give credit card details. So as these credit card details are given, right? So basically what happens? So this Stripe interface asks your server that these details are okay. It may happen that somehow your user can try to fake some payment, right? Want to pay you little less than what you are expecting, right? Or things like that. So here it asks the server that server, is this payment okay, right? And server responds back. Server responds back. Because we told the server that how much payment is coming, right? So server already knew that what kind of payment is coming, right? So basically this type asks that, hey server, do you think that this payment is okay? So yes, you okay it, and as you okay it, then this payment is through, right? And once this payment is through, right, so server, this Stripe, Control C, Control V, send you the token, right? So here you get the token, right? That this payment is done. Right, so it gets the token. Right, so it gets a token, and then it destroys. Right? Hello, everybody.
Yes.
Then it destroys.
Sure.
Actually, there's behind the scene things which we have not shown, that because that front end will actually work its own server end, Stripe server end. That detail need not to be shown in this diagram. Right? So yes.
But for payment, we're using third-party server, right, sir?
Yes, definitely.
So from
But yeah, so payment ultimately is made by the third party server, but payment request is verified by our server.
Yeah.
Okay, payment request is verified by our server. So request is generated from the server. Request is not generated from the front end, because front end is in the reach of the user. User can tamper with it and can modify it.
Yes.
Right? So basically, the ultimate request for payment comes from your server.
Okay.
Right?
Then server verifies it, then send it to the third party people.
Yes, yes. This is exactly what happens, right?
Yeah.
So 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 this portion you can say that we can make further detail of it. Okay, so once this is done, then what happens? Then the server let me make this. Then the server okay. So then server enters into the DB. Database, right? And what else server does? What other thing will come into picture?
Inform the user that payment is complete. Confirmations to the user.
Yes. Very good. You guys are so intelligent. Then this is, who is this? This is email agent, right? Email agent, right? So server will tell the mailing agent send email and will give details of student, subject, and payment. Right? So basically this is the sequence, this is a sequence diagram of this particular scenario. Right? So sometimes it happens that scenarios are difficult, they are not understandable directly. So we make detailed sequence diagram that in detail tells us that what is happening exactly. For example, it is telling that how the terms and conditions would be generated, and then it is telling that how the payment would be made. Right? Maybe these steps vary from vendor to vendor little bit, but most of the time they are the same. Right? So this is how we make the sequence diagram, and this is the purpose of sequence diagram. Any question? Any question, guys?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Everybody's happy? There's no question? Okay. So I would advise you that, go to these websites and at least make one sequence diagram yourself. Right? Because look, the deal is that whatever I am doing so far, there is no coding involved in it, right? And some people would think that since there is no coding involved, so probably these things are not important. But these things are definitely important in the sense that people actually don't know how to make it, right? And they mess it up, and ultimately they end up with diagrams which will not help in any ways, right? So basically, by looking into this diagram, a developer can understand that what are the steps, what I need to make, right? Got it? Hello, everybody.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I will not discuss sequence diagram more because there are so many things I have to discuss in this course. The course is very vast, right? But I would recommend you that you go ahead, go through your book, and there you can find very, quite a bit of details about sequence diagram, right? Let me take you to another diagram, which is known as use case diagram, right? The actual use case diagram. So let me have a new slide over here, new slide. And so this is use case diagram. So should I write sequence diagram somewhere over here? Right, guys? And now we discuss use case diagram. Right at the top, we mention use case diagram. Right? So use case diagram starts with a box. This box is very important. So can I get some empty box somewhere? Which one is empty box? Which one is empty box? Is this empty box? Let's see. Okay, I think we have to get it and then we have to empty it. Where is the empty thing?
Just no fill is fine.
Where is no fill?
That's first option.
Oh, yeah, you're right. No fill. So this big box is the boundary of your system, right? This big box is what? Is the boundary of your system, right? And on one side of this boundary, we would have our human actors, right? So we would have our human actors, Control V. So maybe it is a student. Let's group it. Group. Ungroup. So this is a student. Then we have meta, then we have admin, then we have faculty, right? Let me put student down there. Right, so these are all human actors in the system, right? We have meta, we have admin, we have faculty, we have student, right? Okay, so meta, now we want to make use cases, right? So use cases are made in ovals. So for example, this is an oval. And dilemma of these ovals is that you cannot write into these ovals, right? So you have to no fill it and put a text box in it, right? Where is text box? So meta sign in. So there is meta sign in process you have to make, right? And let me call it meta sign in. Okay, then we have admin sign in. This is quite a big oval. I don't want to have this much size oval because otherwise I would not be able to put so many of them. This is meta sign in. Maybe I can put it here somewhere. We have admin sign in, right? We have faculty sign in. We have student sign in, right? Okay, and all these three of them are using send pin, right? So this process, this use case send pin is basically an abstract process, right? But it is included in all three of them, right? So let us include it. So let's make this arrow from here to here. And another arrow from here to here. and another arrow from here to here. And these are includes. So let me put a text box here. So you will say include. Right, guys? Getting me? Hello, everybody.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then I have over here student sign up, right? And this is also going to have right send pin. Student sign in does not require a pin, but student sign up must require a pin. Hello, everybody.
Yes.
Right? Okay. Now, who is going to interact with them? Right? So basically, Meta is going to interact with Meta signing process. Sometimes people will think that, okay, don't make them. I agree that if diagram is getting cluttered, maybe don't make it in use case diagram. Right? Okay. Then there would be more use cases. For example, so now you have got the idea, right? So complete this use case diagram also, right? Any question about it? So let me send it to you and let me see who can make it right now, right? So let me send it to you guys, right? Let me pause the share screen share for a minute and let me send it to you. Give me a minute. Who got dropped out? Okay. Send email to all users. Okay. Right. Choose file. So it would be in documents. OneDrive, documents, uh, lab layout, no, user stories. Oh, I have to close it. So let me close it. Okay. Okay. Let me send it to you. So it is being sent right now. Please let me know once you get it. Have you got it?
Yes.
Okay. So who wants to start working on it right now? Who is good at drawing and design and layouts, you know? So that would be a good idea to start with. Yes. Then I have to ask Dinesh, would you like? Hello, Dinesh.
Yes, Professor, I can.
Okay, yeah, please open this and share your screen with us.
Professor, I can't share the screen.
Let me see. Okay, now you can share. Please go on and share your screen.
The message is popping up like other participant is sharing.
Ah, okay, you can still stop share. Okay, now share your screen, please. Okay, great. So for example, we would have a use case with the name create admin and create faculty, right? These two use cases would be there, right? So create admin and create faculty, right?
Yes,
So
Professor.
yeah, please make these two use cases.
Oh, sorry.
No problem. Share it again. So probably you have to select both of them. Control Z could be the idea. Okay, let me ask remote control. Maybe I can help you. So request remote control, request. Thank you. So just give me a chance. So control Z, control Z, control Z. Okay, right? Now you want to say, for example, you want to copy this. So like this. Now control C and control V. Right? You just paste it. Now without touching anything, you can just move it from the overlap position. Right? Maybe you want to put them over here. And here you can actually, edit it. Do it, please now.
Like admin sign up, right, Professor?
No, this would be not admin sign up, admin creation. Admin is created. Admin creation. Right? And faculty creation. And you can copy this. Just select.
Faculty creation.
Okay. Faculty creation. Right? You can put this also in parallel with admin creation.
Yeah.
So just give me a chance. So
Yeah.
maybe we can put both of them. Control Z. The Control Z is very great thing. Select both of them and move it maybe over here. So place it, in parallel with it. There's some delay. Okay, good. And now who is doing to do it? Meta is going to do it. So connect Meta with these two. All right, so connect both of them. Don't try to cross the bubble. Yeah, just keep it straight and take it to Meta. Right, good. So the Meta is going to create them, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so once they would be created, right? So an email would be sent, right? So maybe here, just give me the control. Here, this send pin is there. Maybe we have to have one more inclusion that send email.
Okay.
Right, send email. So maybe we can have like this instead of having, just a minute. Oh, Control Z. So let's say Control. Okay, now Control Z. Maybe copy this guy from here. Oh, Control C, Control V, and here we can put send email, right? And we can have this include relationship. So we are not supposed to bring anything out of it, right? This
Yes.
box, right? So send email. So maybe you can use this send email in both of them.
Oh, okay. We can include that send email in both of the.
Yeah, because as the admin would be created or faculty would be created, that email would be sent,
Okay.
right? So we can include them in admins, And this is an arrow, by the way.
Oh, okay.
This should have been an arrow. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is done. So now admin, what can admin do? Admin, okay, yeah.
Can create a.
Right. So admin can create a subject, right? Admin can create a course, right? So make a use case, create a course. So once you start making it, you understand that it is not that easy, right? Even you have to move mouse. So admin can create a class, right? And admin can create a promo code also. Maybe increase the size a little bit. Yeah, font size lower. Okay, should be readable. Okay, so connect these two use cases with admin. Right, and create a promo code, and this promo code would be sent directly to a promoter, right? So maybe here on the right, make an other stickman with the name promoter. Maybe make it under the admin, scoot faculty and student little bit down. Promoter, right? So create promo code. So basically this promoter would also be connected with the create promo code.
Yeah.
Right, good. Okay, and then there would be use case register class. Maybe make it little bit towards center and towards bottom. Take it towards bottom. Okay, yeah, make it over here. So who is going to interact with it? Number one, student is going to interact with it.
Yes, understood.
Okay,
And, maybe faculty.
right. And no, faculty is not going to interact during the registration process. A student will going to interact it with it. Maybe admin maybe because you received an email, admin receives an email, but promoter will interact with it in the sense that as a student will register by using a promo code of a promoter, that promoter will get to know that his promo code or her promo code is used. This is like affiliate marketing engine, right?
Okay.
So this website has full-fledged affiliate marketing engine integrated with it. Okay, and then let me get the control, please.
Yeah.
Thank you. And then Control Z. Control C, Control V. Then there is a non-human actor, which is external to the system. So just name it payment portal. And it is going to interact with register class.
Okay.
Right? So, okay, we can do one more thing. And that thing is that here, register class, just name it register class with promo code. Right? And make one more use case, register class without promo code. Make it towards left of it.
Is it fine here, Professor?
No, make it towards bottom, please. Okay, yeah, over here is okay. Okay,
Code,
with promo code and without promo code, right? So this, yeah, so here, this payment portal is going to interact with it. Very good. And promoter is not going to interact with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and faculty and admin is going to interact with it. And one more thing, that this register with promo code would be an extension of register without promo code.
Okay.
Yeah, so here you can make an arrow like this, arrow from this one where my mouse is to this one, right? Without, and mention extend.
Okay.
Instead of include, mention extend. So the canvas should be a little bigger and it will not cramp that much. Right? Got it?
Yeah, Professor.
So now this is the use case diagram, right? So use case diagram is telling that what are the various use cases in the system and how are they interacting with each other. So there are like a few more also, but main use cases I have discussed with. right? Got it? Any questions so far? So I would invite you that sit down and make a use case diagram for the other web portal, pickafacenick.com, and maybe fill in some voids over there, which I have not made, right? Any questions so far?
No, sir.
Okay, so I think that this lecture was quite overwhelming lecture because we discussed two major things, like one sequence diagram, one use case diagram in them. And I don't see that we should stretch this lecture further. If you have questions, you can ask questions though. Yes, any question?
No, Professor, we got it.
So people, if you want, you can take a screenshot of this slide right now over here so that it should remain with you all as a reference. Have you taken the screenshots?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great, awesome. Dinesh, you can unshare your screen now.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So nice of you. So anybody, any question? So if you don't have any question, so do you think that I should start something new? I don't think so, because this lecture is definitely quite a bit overwhelming. So I think I will stop here and I will continue this discussion in tomorrow's lecture, right? So if you have, you want to have me for office hours, you can stay in this conversation. Otherwise you can drop out, and I wish you a good rest of the day. Take good care of yourselves. Goodbye.
Yeah. Professor,
Just
can
a
I
minute.
have the textbook link of it?
Just a minute. You want to stay? Okay. Ankit, you want to stay? Okay. Yes, Dinesh, just a minute. Let me just stop recording.
Yeah.